What if I told you that after slavery ended, a new system rose up to keep black people in chains? Not the chains made of iron, but laws written on paper that looked like justice. A set of hidden laws that robbed millions of the freedom they had just been promised. This is not just a story about the past, it is a warning. Because once you see how the black codes worked, you will understand that slavery never truly ended. It just changed its face. Let's dive into the chapter they hoped we would forget. How did labor contracts keep black people trapped after slavery? After slavery ended, many black people had no land, no money, and no real protection. The southern states knew this, and they used it. They forced black workers to sign labor contracts with white landowners. If you refused to sign the contract, you could be arrested. And once you signed, you were locked into long hours, low pay, and harsh treatment. It was slavery all over again, just written into law. Vagrancy laws made it worse. Being unemployed or not having proof of work could still get you arrested. The punishment, most of the time they were forced to work for free and to pay off fines they could never afford. This was no accident. It was built to keep black labor cheap, trapped on the land, and easy to control. Across the South, the rules were a little different from place to place. But the goal was always the same, to make sure black people stayed at the bottom and had no real way out. How were black children forced into labor after the Civil War? Now let us talk about what happened to the children. After the Civil War, the black codes did not just target adults. They found a way to pull in the youngest too. They called it apprenticeship. But it was never about learning a real trade. It was a way to use black children for free labor. Under these laws, courts could take black children away from their families. They would hand them over to white landowners. The excuse was that they needed training or guidance. But in reality, they were forced to work the fields, clean houses, and do whatever labor was needed. These so-called apprenticeships lasted until the children turned 18 or 21, and they had almost no rights to challenge it. Imagine being a child born free, only to end up trapped on the same land your parents were enslaved on. Across different states, the rules looked a little different, but the purpose was always the same: to take away black children's futures before they even had a chance to grow. Why were black families blocked from owning land after slavery? Owning land was supposed to be the key to freedom. It was a chance to build a home, to grow a future, to pass something down to the next generation. But the black codes made sure that most black families never got that chance. Many states passed laws that blocked African Americans from buying good land. In some places, they were only allowed to rent or buy poor farmland. In other areas, they could not buy land at all unless a white man approved it. Even if someone managed to get a little land, the threats never stopped. Violence and unfair laws were used to run black families off their property. How did the black codes take away civil rights from black Americans? After the Civil War, the Constitution said black people were citizens. On paper, they had the right to vote, the right to a fair trial, and the right to legal protection. But the black codes found ways to take all of that away. In many states, black men were blocked from voting. They had to pass impossible tests or pay taxes they could not afford. Even if they managed to register, they often faced threats and violence on election day. It was not just voting. Black people were banned from serving on juries too. That meant if they were accused of a crime, they would face an all-white jury with no one to speak for them. In some places, black people were not even allowed to testify in court against a white person. How did the Black Codes control black movement and block self-defense? The Black Codes did not stop at labor and land. They also controlled where you could go and who you could meet. In many places, black people needed permission just to hold a meeting. Even church services could be shut down if they gathered without approval. The goal was simple: stop people from organizing and stop them from standing together. The Black Codes also banned black people from carrying weapons. Not even for protection, and not even to defend their families. This left black communities open to threats of attacks and violence, with no legal way to fight back. In some states, they even created pass systems. If you wanted to travel, you needed a written pass from your employer. Without it, you could be arrested and forced into labor. Are the Black Codes still affecting Black Americans today? The Black Codes might sound like a thing of the past, but if you look closely, the patterns are still here. Today we see it in unfair housing practices. Black families are still more likely to be denied home loans, still more likely to live in neighborhoods with poor schools and fewer resources. We see it in the justice system. Black Americans are still arrested more often for minor offenses and given harsher sentences for the same crimes. We see it in the fight for voting rights. New laws are still being passed to make it harder for black communities to vote. In places like Georgia, it is now illegal to give food or water to people waiting in long voting lines. Those long lines are not by accident. They are often the longest in black neighborhoods. Back during the Black Codes, black people needed a pass just to travel without fear of arrest. Today, many black drivers still feel unsafe driving through certain areas. You may not need a written pass anymore, but the danger has not disappeared. But being the wrong color in the wrong place can still get you pulled over, questioned, or worse. Sundown towns still exist. Black truck drivers are coming up missing in 2025. We also see it in the workplace. Diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, which allow some black Americans to walk through the door, are now being cut across the country. Civil rights protections that once helped fight discrimination are being weakened. Now even that small opening is under attack. The systems built during the Black Codes taught America how to block opportunity, while pretending everything was fair. The methods look different today, but the goal has not changed. That's a wrap, history seekers. Next, watch the 400-year journey from Africa to America. Getting to the roots is where history comes alive. We uncover the truth about Africa, African Americans, and American history, one story at a time. Thanks for watching. Peace and love.